Does the team, is it still valid now? Of course it is valid.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a one-trick pony that you can do anymore. You got to be delivering sustained value to customers, communities, nations, whatever you are impacting. You are actually doing, let me summarize this, give me that report, articulate this. What you're doing unintentionally is actually you're giving away your corporate data into a public domain generative AI tool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unsanctioned AI usage is the biggest challenge. We can be obsessed with making chips for India. Mm-hmm. And that will be in a handful of entrepreneurs or organizations who do these high-end chips for. But rest of us, we have a huge talent pool to use that capability and chips to generate fantastic outcomes for our society. One of these leaders told me, I asked him why am I not getting promoted? He told me, yeah, you get promoted, but are you behaving that level?
Hi everyone, welcome again to Chai and Chips, episode 2 of season 2. And we have in our studio today, Anil Valluri. Anil has had a vantage point of 40 plus years in Indian technology, especially infrastructure industry. He started his career in DCM Data Products and most recently was the chairman of Palo Alto Networks India. Prior to that, he was president of NetApp India and SARC, and he also was the VP and managing director of Sun Microsystems India. And if you don't know about Sun, it is one of the coolest companies, hardware companies that ever existed in the world. And besides his professional exploits, Anil is a very avid audiophile, and in his free time, he's experimenting with all high-end audio systems. So with that background, I also wanted to frame the episode today. The last episode, we were talking about investments and what must be true for AI to impact investments in India in a positive way. This time, we'll talk cybersecurity. What must be true for AI to really be beneficial for cybersecurity outcomes in India? That is the topic for today. And beyond that, we will also have a little bit of career learnings and insights from Anil because he has seen so much of the industry, and I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Welcome to the show, Anil.
Thank you, Prakash. My pleasure.
Yeah, it should be a very, very good episode, and I'm honored for you to be here, being here.
I'm thankful for you to call me here on the show. I've seen a couple of these episodes, very interesting. I watch it quite intently on some of these things.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot.
Yeah.
So just a few warm-up questions, right? And I bet even the audience would really love or enjoy your points of view because you've had 40 years experience or more in technology, infrastructure, hardware predominantly, and software as well, across digital, Sun Microsystems, Google Cloud, Palo Alto Networks, and NetApp, right? It's a very unique vantage point that not many people are privileged to have. So if you look at across the 4 decades or more, what key themes stand out for you? And are any of those themes still relevant for India?
Thank you. It's a good question. If you look at the companies that you mentioned, Sun, NetApp, Palo Alto, Google, all of them have been originally as startups, right? They started off with a set of few people coming out with an idea. And they never got acquired. They continued to do well. They went on to take an IPO and enlarge their presence and so on. Palo Alto, Google, NetApp, Sun. Of course, some of them got acquired, including Sun. But they all have created value around some idea, which is very innovative, and which market didn't need it, or market didn't understand that it needed it. Mm-hmm. And they came out with this and propagated to the market, right? Whether it is Sun Network is the computer, whether it is unified storage by NetApp, Google, of course, the whole gamut of search and maps and what have you. And Palo Alto with cybersecurity, the unified platform model. They created the tech and took it to the market. And when the market didn't know that it needed it, right, and made it into a category owner, right, they became the owners of that category.
Right.
So I'm very, very fortunate to be part of those big names. Very few people get the chance to work and get a ringside view, and that too at a executive level, to look at the whole operations and see how it impacts customers. Truly, they added value. They stand out for innovation. And the value is long-lasting. It's not short-term. I'll fix something which will give you more productivity, and then 1 year later, you're not irrelevant. So they've created value for long-term. And they innovated, taken an idea, innovated around that into a set of additional ideas and made it better, and then spread out into other areas. So became a larger firm based on a core central theme, right? Most of these companies are. Take Google, take Palo Alto, take NetApp, whatever. So, and does that team, is it still valid now? Of course it is valid.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a one-trick pony that you can do anymore. You got to be delivering sustained value to customers, communities, nations, whatever you are impacting.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are impacting a citizen. Not all of them are impacting a nation. Not all of them. So each one has its own constituency, but you need to address that constituency for a long term.
Right.
And that is to my mind, is a long-lasting value that, the thread continues even today for some of these startups that are being done. So I would always look at this and say, you create value and you create it for a sustained period of time by constantly innovating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great context. And we'll come back to it towards the latter part of the episode on what's been some of your learnings looking at such a diverse set of companies. And I also wanted to start with the AI and cybersecurity question with the pointer that in systems, when you look at it, for the last couple of years or so, we are adding AI at a pace which is unprecedented. And it is not being secured at the same pace. So when you look at those two data points, which part of that really worries you and why?
Again, it's a very wide-ranging, set of answers that you get for these kind of questions. But I'll keep it quite succinct. AI has been one of the largest and the biggest inflection points for our digital surface, right? We have suddenly gone from a surface which is X to surface which is N times X. When you say digital surface, then you're really saying how much you are exposing yourself to the world. Everything is digital way of life.
So when you say digital surface, for our audience benefit, you're talking about interactions that we are having, that surface area of interaction.
Yes. Okay. Some of them may not be interacting. Some of them are your assets.
Yeah. Fair.
They're not necessarily, but they're digital assets.
Digital assets. Like your stocks.
Yeah, or stocks, your property, your bank, your money, your credentials.
Yeah.
What have you. And everything is digital today. Health records.
Correct.
So the more we are digital, the more is our vulnerabilities, and we are putting all of that on the net. Now, AI has brought in a very different level of threat landscape to this whole thing, because then what you're doing is you are now using AI and you're allowing this learning systems and machine learning models to go and look at your data and so on. and what it does and what it can do, right? It's a lot of benefit, but also it comes with its own baggage. In the quest for being the first guy to, employ AI in your organization, you are blindsided, in trying to be the poster boy for AI and saying, "Oh, I've deployed AI." But what did you do to secure the AI that you deployed? Right? So AI, as much as we are benefiting, the attackers are benefiting as much. So they do better, finer, more refined stuff than you on AI.
Right.
So that's the challenge is, you really need to defend yourself AI at AI speed, at AI scale. That security mindset is the worry for me. Okay. We are going full steam into deploying AI systems, personal, official, semi-personal, family, society, media, news, politics, defense, healthcare, everywhere, right? So the vulnerabilities are that much more. And are we thinking of a secure AI in a mindset? So security is a mindset, and AI security is a bigger mindset. You need to be always thinking about, when I deploy this, am I deploying AI security along with it? Otherwise, you're putting things at risk, and that's my worry. How much of awareness, how much of sensitivity that is there in terms of security consciousness across users, and that's 1.7 billion people having 1+ billion internet phones, smartphones. They're all out there trying to download, use, consume AI in some form or the other.
Yeah.
And, our levels of literacy versus security consciousness is questionable.
Yeah.
So, usage is one part of so securing it is another story.
The other story.
Yeah. That's my worry. Yeah.
And you think, is there anything unique? Every country is at a different point in terms of maturity, whether you call technology adoption or AI adoption more recently. What do you find unique in the Indian environment, which the global frameworks and global models completely miss as it relates to cybersecurity?
I think scale is the biggest differentiator. When you're talking about United States, you may be talking about 400 million, somewhere 100 million. We're talking about 1 billion plus at the worst case, right? And all of them are consuming digital services, digital content. Some of them are driven by AI. We need to, and when I talked about the literacy part, the security consciousness part, so security is not somebody else's problem. It is your problem. Right?
True.
Somebody else cannot secure you. You got to secure yourself. So that, and coupled with the geopolitical landscape that we are in, India is very tech savvy, and then you have people surrounding you with a lot of capabilities who are using cyber threats as a economic benefit. It's an industry for them. So you got really guarding against targeted attacks, plus your own levels of awareness on security. And we are very, very advanced in terms of digitization efforts. It's not as if we are, so the whole payment systems, the digital assets, our taxation, money, healthcare, land records, they're all digital today. Your driving licenses, your vehicle ownerships, your electricity, utilities. The more we do, the more is the attack surface for us, right? For attackers. So India presents a very complex environment for where we are tech savvy, at the same time not very security conscious, and the levels of adoption is huge. Compared to even modern developed nations, we are ahead in terms of payment systems and so on.
Right.
Therefore, and we are big consumers of media, news, media, breaking news, what have you, and all of that. The doppelgangers that you can create has huge impact on our societal behavior. And you can get a fake video, deepfake video of somebody very important coming on TV and saying things which is not true. And we can get swayed. How many people do you go and convince that is not a fact? It is a fake, right?
True.
So damage could be done very quickly. So we need to be, the technology is one part of the story. I think the human awareness, the societal awareness, and the ability to really hold on and check, is it a fact, is it true? We can't be starting off the blocks just on fake stuff. So that's the difference to my mind. It's a very complex nation.
Agree. Yeah, and if you look at AI as it relates to cybersecurity, I feel there are many things that have changed. And in terms of threat model, one, and I would love your perspective on, is asymmetry. Does it mean that the attackers have got the upper hand, or is it the defenders who are the upper hand? That's one part. The other part is the speed with which you can attack. Like, technically speaking, if agents are possible, then 24/7 you can keep attacking until you get through. And the other is cost of doing it, right? It can be much lower than what, like you said, doppelgangers can be created at literally no cost. So if you consider all of that, what is the threat model as it used to be, and how does AI change that, especially with India in mind?
The AI is a benefit and it's also a bane. All tech is, but AI is more so. And I'll come to the quantum part later. We are just at the tip of the iceberg. AI threat is today, quantum is tomorrow and the future. But if you look at AI, as much as we adopt AI for our benefit, creating autonomous processes, agentic AI, doing stuff for us, we are ceding control of a lot of things, right? And we are expecting the model to work well. Now, on the other side, there are people who can create code in no time. There's a chat GPT and there's a worm GPT available in dark web. You can create, ransomware code in minutes. If you have a vulnerability, it's been exploited in minutes, not in multiple months and days anymore. If an exfiltration can take place in next to no time.
Right. And exfiltration is?
Of your data for a ransomware, and you take away your data.
Got you.
Not just for ransomware, but I'll come to the other point, which is there's a term called harvest data, decrypt later. Right? I'll come to that part later. But people just want to take away your data with your knowledge or without your knowledge. Sometimes they tell you that if you've taken away your data and then you locked up and then give me money, ransomware. But there are other things that they'll do with it. So the whole timelines have got compressed. And the cost, like you rightly said, is next to nothing. Right? There are ransomware as a service available, and you can hire somebody, and I can target a particular enterprise and say, break it for me, I'll pay you, let's share the spoils. And then the next level of refinement that's happening is poisoning your LLM models. You do something with your LLM and I can create poison it to behave differently to suit me. Right? That's what a threat act.
Which the user obviously will not know.
Not know. You don't even know what's going on inside you just deployed an LLM model and you're expecting it to behave well. Similarly, as a doppelganger, your data can be poison. Trust of data is no more, a given. You put data in cloud, you put data in your archives, I can tamper with it, I can create wrong data. And that is the one that is used by the learning models to create outcomes. If I inject data which is spurious, what do you expect the model to do? It is obviously creating a wrong model. And of course, there are these, I can do your supply chain is, your extended universe is connected through interconnected systems. I can poison there and travel laterally here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can develop code which is spurious and then inject it into your system. So the damage for the enterprise or an institution is tremendous. And we won't even know that it is happening. So there is a massive requirement for securing AI. Mm-hmm. While as much as you deploy AI, securing AI is very important. Right? Identity, agentic AI, LLM poisoning, prompt injection. I can create a prompt in your system to get your other customer data and then and take it away.
Wow.
This is called prompt engineering, right? Because all the GenAI models are based on prompt, and I can create fake prompts and create it to make it behave in a way that I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you protect all this? You got to have systems and AI models. And that's when it is called, these current systems that we have for cybersecurity are all dated systems. Firewalls, antivirus, VPN, tunnels. They're all discrete systems which don't talk to each other. And you're tasked for a purpose at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what now we call it security debt. We are living in a security debt. And that security debt can't be just wished away.
Right.
You got to recreate the whole models. If you're deploying AI, you got to really recreate the whole model ground up. And then people famously call the security debt for repurposing, it's called refinancing debt.
Oh, I've not heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm refinancing my security debt.
Okay.
Right? So recreate the models. Be agile, be aware. And then security consciousness is the key cog in the whole stack of AI security. Safe AI, right? Responsible AI, explainable AI. A part of that is absolutely human intervention.
Right.
While you watch it, you need to also watch it for the right things, right? You watch it for outliers, wrong behaviors, something which is out of the ordinary. Yeah. So that's the challenge, Prakash.
So when you just listening to you, looks like the asymmetry has tremendously increased in the favor of the attackers.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
I wouldn't say that. You could be well prepared to guard against these things. At the same time, we are blessed with very unintended consequence. While we have developed financial systems, medical systems, power systems, taxation systems, all of that, we've done it separately. So one guy doesn't talk to the other. So it's good because if you break into something, you can't just go and collapse all of India's infrastructure.
So discrete systems are helpful.
Discrete islands are still good in some form or shape.
Yeah.
Right. Our critical infrastructure is well secured.
Okay.
So medical, defense, banking, critical citizen services, and so on and so forth are well secured. But we will continue to always keep our eyes open, and
it's an arms race in the end.
An arms race. So I won't create a scare. I would say yes, they have an advantage, but we need to be guarded. We need to be right always, and they need to be right only once.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So we got to create the right. As I said, we need to get rid of the security debt. Mm-hmm. What we've created. Right?
Yeah.
And there are good pieces of advisors, technology, implementations. So the idea is to look at security from a holistic standpoint. Don't look at piecemeal.
Right.
What happens in one corner of an organization can have a serious impact on the other side.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And a large part of how you look at it, that mindset and that holistic view has got to do with trust.
Yes.
Right. Security is all about trust. Even physical security is about human beings trusting each other, as an example. And in the digital sphere, there's some aspect of humans in the loop with AI coming in and helping cybersecurity to secure it in a better way, in a positive way. So when you look at humans in the loop, how important is it? And at what point in time does it become like irrelevant or meaningless, you think?
See, there's a notion that there'll be no more people required in protecting your security, securing your assets, which is not true. So far, the model has been that you have a bunch of security analysts who are looking at your SOC, and that is Security Operations Center, and looking at alerts and trying to solve, and A, B, C category, and take the A first and B next and C next. And they inundated with alerts, and there's something called alert fatigue that has happened. And they give up and then take only the top ones and give up the others. And the other ones the outliers are the ones which are the biggest pain points, and they can create more racket. With the AI coming in, doing autonomous, security, protection, and stitching together all of these things, understanding patterns and trying to solve using agents and AI models to look at behaviors and outliers. It's all well done, but now you don't give up control to just this agentic AIs or autonomous AI to solve your security. When it comes to the normal ones, you actually delegate it, but the key actions need to be always human supervised.
Okay.
So now we call it what you call the AI taskmaster, AI project manager. He's the one who's actually monitoring the AI agents and making sure they're behaving well and they're not going out of control.
Yeah.
They're not doing crazy things. So the role becomes from just the analyst to looking at things from at a higher level and saying, what are those aberrations? What are these outliers? What are these behaviors which are different? And make sure I don't allow an agent to go on enterprise-wide broadcast of something, or I take down one application or a site saying that, oh, this is the action that I need to do. Stop it and check. So the model is you need to have humans. And the role is different. The approach is different. It is instead of you analyzing it, let it analyze it, and you make those bigger calls.
Right.
Which can be impacting an institution or an organization or a government at a larger scale. Don't let that pass just like that. And you have to have controls on that part. So the roles have changed. And it's now AI security is now not a cost center, but you're actually using it as a productivity center. You're actually using it for going ahead, doing full steam, not worrying about what is going to happen, and actually using it for increasing your productivity and all of that stuff.
Yeah, AI is a productivity employer or a productivity.
But AI security is considered as cost center by most of the organizations.
Agree. Yeah, very true. In fact, I use a lot of AI tools even in podcast, right, for editing or transcripting, all of that. And it is very cool. But at the same time, when you look at absence of security and some of the aspects you talked about on LLM poisoning, data poisoning, it could have very significant impact on people if they have no awareness of these new threats.
No, you mentioned about using it, your AI tools. That reminds me, most of the organizations have shadow IT. People would go spin up their own compute and run it for doing their projects.
Because they are savvy.
Instead of going to an IT manager and saying, give me budget, give me compute. Same thing is happening on AI. It's called shadow AI.
Oh, wow.
So you are an employee in a big company, you are doing something, and then you are sending it to your not agentic, generative AI stuff that you use, whatever names that you use. You're actually doing, let me summarize this, give me the report, articulate this. What you're doing unintentionally is actually you're giving away your corporate data into a public domain generative AI tool. Unsanctioned AI usage is the biggest challenge. Everybody wants to be better.
Yeah.
They want to show their board, they want to show their presentations smarter, better, well articulated, crisper.
They are ahead of
right
the
from executive assistants to people who are in marketing, in sales, they are doing left, right, and center.
Very true.
Unsanctioned AI usage. And organizations have no clue their data is going. Right? So now there's another one that how do you control unsanctioned AI usage? You can control out your laptops in company issued laptops and systems, but bring your own devices. You're doing it on your mobile phone, but you're sending out your corporate data or those vital information.
Yeah.
How do you prevent it? So there are a lot of AI again, but AI by design is the most important part of the approach to securing AI.
So when you look at these different aspects or new aspects which have come out due to artificial intelligence progression, are there tools or principles by which enterprises or even consumers can protect themselves?
Yes, it is. It is not point products. You got to look at it holistically.
Right.
You need to get rid of the security debt, whatever you are using or not using.
Right.
And start approaching AI with a fresh perspective. And then there are enough and more tools available now, technologies available to protect AI usage in organizations.
Okay.
For protecting LLM poisoning, for protecting data leaks, data poisoning, prompt injection. There are tools to protect all of this. So the surfaces are in the cloud, you're in your system, you're with your suppliers. All of that is protected. And then your code developers, they're developing code. So you designing secure by design is what you must develop code with. You're not afterthought. You're not checking it later.
Right.
So all of that are available today.
Okay.
For people to consume and use. But clearly it is a boardroom conversation. AI, everybody is onto AI, but securing AI is a very important boardroom conversation. They call it ORS, right? It has to do with, accountability, risk, strategy, on ownership and things like that. You are presenting that to the boards, and this is how you want to manage risk around AI. And there's a new term that I've heard called CAIRO, Chief AI Risk Officer.
Yeah, I read about that as well.
So, and these are the things that you need to have. It is not about getting benefits of AI, but you also need to make sure small companies can go bust.
I agree.
They can get wiped out.
Yeah.
So, however small, big you are, you need to protect. AI usage is easy to adopt, but difficult to protect.
Yeah.
It has to be a conscious decision.
Okay. So, at this point, let me take a quick break and get into a bunch of rapid fire questions for you, Anil.
Okay.
Something to have fun before we go back to AI and cybersecurity.
Sure.
So the first question is, which is more dangerous, smart attackers or overconfident defenders?
I would say overconfident defender.
And why would you say that?
Because what really bothers me is people telling me that we are secure.
Okay.
Right? Without having a clue of what they are securing. Right? That's, to my mind, I would categorize as an overconfident defender.
Yeah.
To believe that you're all well set.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you don't know, right? So it is better to err on the caution side rather than be overconfident. Mm-hmm. It is good to be pessimistic a little bit in cybersecurity than being very optimistic. But the cost of breach is very high.
Very high. Okay. AI in security, shield or weapon?
I would say both.
Okay.
Because you are shielding AI with AI. And it's a weapon because you are actually using it to get market advantage, get productivity ahead of the others, deploying better outcomes for your customers, being more compliant, being more secure. You're contributing to the nation building.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say it's a weapon in a very positive way. Yeah.
Agree. One cyber myth that annoys you the most?
I told you before, when somebody tells me that they figured out what is cybersecurity and they are secure.
Okay.
In fact, one of my friends, I visited a customer, he'd shown me, what do you do if something happens? And showed me a wall which has contact security, contact CIO, contact this, and that's it. Look, by the time you contact, your data is gone, man.
Gone.
So it is very, very, underwhelming to figure out how underprepared some of our customers are. I'm not painting everybody with the same brush, but there are pockets which are very confident and naive.
Yeah. So overconfident defenders annoy you.
Oh, yeah.
One cyber risk most leaders lose sleep over but shouldn't.
I don't know. It's a tough question, but they should be sleeping peacefully after having deployed AI-driven security.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't, you better lose sleep that you didn't deploy it. Right?
Okay.
Because whether you have deployed AI or not in your organizations, the attackers have deployed it.
Have it. Yes.
So,
yeah, true. Your personal security habit that most people ignore.
it's not a giveaway, but I use two-factor authentication across the board.
Okay.
Me and my family. Even simple things like Facebook, WhatsApp, and not just bank accounts and so on. As much as possible, if you can do biometrics, might as well do it.
So
then we also have, as a family group, we also have a code of safety. When we have a question mark, when some stray behavior happens amongst our family members, we ask for that validation of that code. And then if that comes through, then we know that it's genuine. Otherwise, somebody is doppelganging that person. So those are the ones. But even we all get taken in. At some point, I went to the verge of paying somebody and then backed off and realized something is wrong. So
Agree.
It can happen.
And sometimes you have spoken to me about this earlier in terms of code, which I thought was very cool idea to make sure that the family every family member is safe.
Yeah.
And most times I feel having analog codes is so much better than digital.
Yeah.
Because it's not hackable.
No.
Yeah.
It's then you're not written it anywhere, so it's word of mouth.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
You're not typing it in your WhatsApp message, but the code is.
Yeah. If you could ban one behavior in organizations to improve security, what would it be?
Casual approach to security. Cybersecurity. I'm not talking about site security, but cybersecurity. Casualness. You're all protected. It's okay. It is somebody else's problem, or it happens to somebody else, not me.
Right.
It always hits the other person, not me.
Yeah.
The casualness of one person can take down an organization.
Very
right? As security people, product, processes. We can solve processes, we can solve products. People is the biggest element of cybersecurity. And if you're not conscious, if you're not, very intent about it, then you get into trouble. And it's a organization-wide issue. For us, it's a nationwide issue.
Agree.
We need to be constantly trained, reminded, refreshed on security awareness.
Yeah.
And it can't be taken for granted. Even a small thing can go on, innocuous thing can go on, change, it can cause financial damage, or it can change your reputation or customer's reputation, what have you. So to my mind, that's the worst.
Okay. That's a great thought and a good segue back into our conversation on cybersecurity and AI. And in the next section, I wanted to touch on readiness for India, right? So from your point of view, which part do you feel India is most unprepared for when it comes to cybersecurity and AI?
India is a very large country, a lot of people. Everybody is a genius. Everybody is tech savvy. And government is making its earnest efforts in adopting AI and bringing AI to scale. To my mind, the most secure ones are the ones which are regulated, highly regulated. Take, for example, the national critical infrastructure organizations, highly regulated markets, healthcare, utilities. Those are the ones which are probably well taken care of.
Okay. And is it by principles applied?
By principles applied. Plus our organizations, certain and so on, are giving enough and more help and support.
Okay.
There's awareness. There are specialists who are doing it. So that part is there. But is it enough? It's not. I mean, there is always, you can do newer things and better things. And as I said, better part of it is we need to secure independently different infrastructures, not look at it as one paintbrush for everything. Therefore, if there is a catastrophic event that happens,
right,
it is only happening and impacting that one particular pocket rather than just across the nation.
Yeah.
So we are on the roadmap, definitely. We are much better than a lot of others.
Right.
But we have a long way to go. As I said, the biggest weakness is the consumer side of things. The literacy part, Wi-Fi in everybody's hands, or 3G, 4G, 5G, what have you, and the ability to download content, messages, WhatsApp, text messages, all of it, we just use and consume reels and shorts, and they all are injected with stuff, bad stuff. So you can easily get taken into some of those things and start creating a racket for others, not just for yourself. So one needs to be aware, and there is, I think, a lot of regulations that are being put in place to content quality, content integrity. How do you put it? What do you put it on the web, which is safe and secure? So it's a constant evolution. It's not done. You're never done.
Okay.
And I'd add that, as I said earlier, the quantum computing is going to change our lives that much more. If the AI piece is X, the quantum can go to 100x of speed and scale and so on. And so we got to constantly evolve. To my mind, this whole encryption of data that we do, people are now just transferring it and keeping it hoping that it can decrypt at some point in time tomorrow.
Yeah. With quantum, it would be absolutely.
So the timeline that people are looking at is 2028 to 2032 that will happen.
Okay.
So as much as a Y2K is, now the next inflection, massive worldwide inflection would be the post-quantum crypto.
Correct.
Right? Unless you change your crypto tools and ciphers and so on to deal with quantum, and that would be a massive change across the globe. And for India, it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, unlike Y2K, where there's a red line and you cross that and you're done with it, this one is a constant threat.
Yeah.
So you got to be dealing with it on a Y2K in perpetuity. Right? So
well said.
You're doing data encryption, you're storing, you need to redo all of it, store differently. You got to be prepared for quantum. And India will go through those challenges like anybody else in the world. Yeah.
And then you talked briefly on regulations. Do regulations really help the cause in creating the right system or principles that everybody follows, or does it just shift liability? You talked about data integrity, content integrity, all of that. What does it actually do? Does it help?
Regulations give you, from my personal experience with a lot of these financial institutions and the others, they'll give you a guideline for protecting yourself. These are the set of requirements that you need to be. That you got to encrypt, that you got to do this, you got to protect, you got to have two-factor authentication, you got to have all of it. Right? Guidelines, right? They call it compliance.
True.
You got to be compliant. But compliance is not equal to security. If I say to RBI, I'm compliant, therefore, whatever happens in my organization, in my bank, you are responsible. Oh, no, sorry, it doesn't work that way. You got to be specific to your bank. So compliance is one part of the story, but it's not the full story. You're not secure because you're compliant. Security is more than compliance. Compliance is a subset in a way. Did you deploy VPN? Did you deploy tunnel? Did you deploy firewall? Did you deploy encryption? Did you deploy two-factor authentication? Those are the checklists that, do you do red teaming? Do you do tabletop exercises once in a year? Right. Do you simulate the catastrophes and so on and so forth? Those are the things, but that's not enough.
Okay.
So, compliance is not equal to
security. Yeah. So regulations can play a role, but still, what individually we do as organizations and consumers.
Very specific to organizations.
Yeah. Yeah.
One bank doesn't mean another bank can do the same thing and get away with it. It is different.
Agree.
Cultures are different. The models are different.
Agree.
The applications that you use are different. Your supply chain is different.
Yeah.
I give it to one guy who's doing market outreach. He's selling my credit card. Somebody's selling my loans.
Yeah.
Their systems are compromised and then I get impacted.
Yeah.
There's a lateral travel through my supply chain and impact my core.
And the part that is very concerning, and you touched also about it briefly, is the enterprises have a mechanism and the budget to address it with the right mindset and tone at the top, all of that. But SMEs, smaller hospitals, smaller organizations have limited awareness at this point in time. And there is a wave coming of increased security risk. So how do you see SMEs and those kind of organizations at the smaller end of the spectrum being impacted by this?
Yeah, you're right. SMEs can get wiped out with a single large event. Data can be lost, financial losses, reputational loss, customer loss. The way to do this is you're doing your entire infrastructure yourself and then giving it to somebody who's knowledgeable to run it for you, and he's securing all of that for you. Because you don't have ability to create that expertise in your organization, or you run it off as a service with somebody who's cloud-based, or the whole enterprise as a service for your ERP, for your customer CRM, for all your enterprise applications to be run off in a secure environment as a service.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, only the touch points is what your employees are, and then you're looking at security-aware employees dealing with it. If you think you can do yourself and you can get the expertise required at that level of finesse, it's difficult. Right?
Okay.
So we should not be under the illusion that I can get the required talent with my scale and my capability to counter the threats of AI. Might as well let somebody run it.
Right.
And there's a price to pay for it. I don't think that price is large enough to say that my organization don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Or run it as a service of somebody else.
Okay.
Right. And there are, you see now so many new enterprise organizations made from India who are offering most of these services.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Made in India stuff. So you can do all of that. Secure by design, run it from somebody else. Don't think you have the expertise to run all of it.
Yeah. It's a good call out for SME owners and folks who are running even smaller startups in the audience.
Yeah.
It's very important to secure the organization.
Correct.
So that brings me to the core question, what we started with, right? What must be true for AI to really drive beneficial outcomes for security in India? How does one think about it?
I would step back a little and say that security outcomes is only one part of the story. We got to leverage AI much better for improving our citizens' lifestyle, quality of life, crime, law and order, healthcare, financial systems, corruption, eliminate corruption, remove man in the middle in a different way.
Right.
So AI is going to really benefit if we deploy it meaningfully to generate goodness for our citizens. And in the process, we are learning a lot of large learning models, because we are so different and so unique, and then we can get to models which are wide and large libraries of models which are deployable across the globe. Right? So deploy in India, go local, go global, whatever. Those things are really useful in an AI environment. Coming back to your chai and chips, right? We can be obsessed with making chips for India. And that will be in a handful of entrepreneurs or organizations who do these high-end chips for. But rest of us, we have a huge talent pool to use that capability and chips to generate fantastic outcomes for our society.
True.
Right? Judiciary, crime, looking at workflows, corruption, and patent frauds. Lots and lots of things that you can really do to improve our own standing for ourselves as well as the global standing. With the levels of economic growth that we're having, we'll be one of the finest nations in the world with the levels of AI deployment that we are capable of. But we need to do it with caution. We do it with a lot of ownership on security.
Yeah.
A belligerent model is not going to work.
Great. And on that note, it's a great thought. And what lines do you think, what kind of systems you would certainly not use AI to secure?
I would not say I would not use it, but I'll use it with caution. Particularly related to drug discovery, healthcare, critical infrastructure, financial systems. I'll be watching it with hawk eyes, how I deploy AI in those places.
Okay.
I want to deploy, I want to take the benefit of it. But I will watch it with an extra pair of eyes to make sure that it is secure and it is combating external threats well. At the same time, deriving the benefits of AI for the purpose that it originally intended to.
Right.
Right? Not just shut doors and say, look, it's not going to happen. You know, this is inevitability of technology. You got to do it. But you got to do it with responsibility, do it with caution. It's fantastic. As I said, it can turn from a cost center to a productivity tool. Right?
Yeah, that's a great summary. And it's a great overview on AI and cybersecurity, Anil. And I would now want to switch into some part of career and your insights, which would be equally interesting and fun, right? One part of that was you had the opportunity to work with some of the best in the industry, Scott McNeely of Sun, Nikesh Arora most recently on Palo Alto, to Som Mittal, Digital, and several others, right? What stood out for you across them? What did you learn and how did it change you in terms of how you operate?
No, I've been very fortunate to work with some of these people, be it Bhaskar Pramanik, Som Mittal, Scott McNeely, Nikesh, George Kurian.
Yeah.
All stalwarts, great people. What stood out is, they are definitely outstanding human beings, right? Their intellect is, of course, beyond question. But they're also great humans, right? They have high EQ, right? And they can see things beyond today. They can see beyond tomorrow. The visionaries. And they will not accept the fact that customer didn't ask for it, therefore we don't need it. They would tell you what will a customer need 5 years henceforth. Right? That visionary leadership is what is important. And they are very good at decision making, great at multitasking. These are all, you and me have seen it enough and practiced it probably very well. But the biggest learning always been that you'd never get 100% right. Get 80% right, move on, execute. If you fail, we'll fail fast. Then learn, redo it and retinker and start again. So great. Above all, they are highly inspirational. When you meet them, when you talk to them, you want to take something out of that interaction and say, can I behave like that? Can I imbibe that quality, right? So that is inspirational. Yeah. So what is inspiration? You're not getting inspired by their fancy titles and all the trappings that come with the CEO, but you are saying that is a quality that I want to have. That level of intellect, that level of understanding, synthesis, analysis, decision making, inspiring others, compassion. Really great learnings. Did I do it in my life, in my career? Probably in bits of pieces of it. So I made sure that I always am reminded of some of these qualities. You're not ordained to be great. You got to be great by doing the right things. Right?
Well said.
Right.
Yeah. Any anecdotes stand out for you of any of them?
Many. I mean, once one of these leaders told me, I asked him why am I not getting promoted? He told me, yeah, you get promoted, but are you behaving that level? Right? First, learn to behave your next level. Act, behave, learn the qualities and capabilities that are required to be that level. Then you would get it automatically. Don't wait. It'll come to you. You don't have to go for it.
Right.
Right? So I always tell, and I tried as much as possible, that you always are thinking the next level of behavior, attributes, quality of thought, quality of judgment, quality of execution, quality of behavior, gravitas, right? You got to be. So yeah, that's one thing. The other one is I did a very uniquely different thing. And it was against the company's operating handbook. He really killed me virtually. But he saw the spark in me and rewarded me with something very different.
Mm-hmm.
Made me go and run a large product set because I was so interested, and I did out of passion to do something which is against the grain of the company.
Yeah.
So both the reprimand and the reward happened. Very unique. Otherwise, you just get reprimanded and you lose all your confidence and you say, okay, to hell with it.
Yeah.
Maybe
and that in turn shapes your thinking on how you should
shaped
operate.
my career completely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I was so happy that, I of course felt bad when I got beat up, but I got rewarded.
Yeah.
So these are this lifetime learnings, right? Each one has a different behavior.
And when you look back, right, coming through past several decades, the leadership style itself has changed in terms of how it is perceived and what is expected of you. How have you changed, right? What you could say?
I don't know whether I've changed or not, but I've seen the asks of leadership change significantly.
Yeah.
There is pressure to deliver every quarter.
Right.
There's a pressure to deliver business outcomes, irrespective of what happens. Mm-hmm. Whether there's a market downturn or a catastrophic change or a technology shift, you got to deliver the numbers that you committed to the street.
Yeah.
And that has its own downside in the sense that people are counting their quarters, no more years. So that puts pressure on behaviors. You are not the same person with that level of maturity to take the good and the bad in the stride and say, let's get on with it. We did the right thing. Sometimes it didn't happen. But that liberty doesn't exist anymore. So what it is doing is people are looking at quarters and then expecting their people to behave by the quarters. You may be a good person, but you're not useful to me, right?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the person. It could be just the market. It could be just a set of circumstances. People don't have the patience because he himself is under the same glare or his boss is under the same glare and microscope. Right?
Yeah.
So the earlier in the models were, you would have your own set of people, great people to depend on, and you would do the organizations and they would probably succeed you at some point. But you're invested in people.
Yeah.
Today's investment is on performance.
Yeah.
That has changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Very insightful. And I agree. The pressure is gone tremendously high versus what it used to be.
So I reminded of Scott McNealy's words when he left Sun after the acquisition of Oracle. He said, I would never ever do a IPO again for a company that I'll start. Because that takes away a huge amount of independence, original thinking. You're driven by market requirements. You're driven by what the street expects to perform, to stay, to profit.
Yeah.
And you do an acquisition, it's a problem. You don't do an acquisition, it's a problem. You give a dividend, it's a problem. You don't give a dividend, it's a problem. So there's always something to... so you're behaving to the whims and fancies of the stock market. And that's, he said, look, for a great entrepreneur, it's a very big bane. I'd rather be doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
A very profound statement from somebody who's as successful as Scott McNealy.
Yeah,
right?
agree. Yeah.
And you can see those behaviors happening with these companies trying to always please the stock market analysts. some story or the other.
Yeah. And the one part that I definitely wanted to ask you is that you have achieved tremendous success in your career, but you didn't come out of Ivy School or colleges. What would you attribute that to? And the second part of the question was, what piece of advice would you offer to similar folks who are starting off their careers at a time which is fraught with change, driven by AI?
Most of the, in the bell curve, if you look at, most of the Indians did not go to Ivy League, and that was beyond our means to go and afford it.
Yeah.
So we had to deal with what we have. And that was out of the necessity to learn things through different means, go through old books, hand me down stuff. And you have to learn differently. And it's not at the fingertips that you have it today. So that's part of the learning story. But the point is, you got to be learning continuously. You can't stop learning. And you got to be interested generally in things that are around you, whether it is politics, whether it is industry, whether it's society. You got to be involved in, inspired by things that are going around, and you have the sense of inquiry in your mind. That's of course is a given, but I would believe that once you are, for youngsters, they start working the way up the ladder. They got to do well in what they're supposed to do. Excel, not just do well, but excel and differentiate by being different, by thinking out of the box, by looking at solutions which are different, getting to root causes and treating it differently and addressing them differently. And stop being insecure. Right? Nobody is going to take away your job if you're good. Right? And if it happens, somebody is going to hire you anyway. Right? So don't count yourself out because of job insecurity. You got to be doing the right things for the right cause. And you allow people to work along with you and generate the classical 1 + 1 = 3 model. You teaming well, you helping others, you're coaching well, you taking coaching, you taking help. It's a very collaborative model that one needs to do, and then that forms the basis for leadership. Because leadership is all about collaborating, working with each other, driving off somebody else's strengths, and you are covering your weakness with somebody else's strength, and you are covering for somebody else's weakness with your strength. It's a combination, right? Nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
So you got to cohesively work, and then therefore I would say capability, context switching, thinking on your feet, knowledge of what you do, continuous learning, and most importantly, the lack of any insecurity in who you are and what you are. And don't try to be somebody else. You be yourself. You have a brand. Mm-hmm. And, you definitely, you cannot be another Scott, another Nikesh, or another George Kurian. They are different. Mm-hmm. You have to set up your own, style.
Yeah.
While you take out all the good things, you have your own style, and don't be insecure. And for somebody who has value, there's always a market.
Very well said. Yeah, agree. So we are coming to the end of the episode. I have one final question that I ask all my guests, which is as follows. India's journey into technologies like AI, and here the conversation is cybersecurity specific, but I would keep it broadly as AI. The growth is not only about delivering domestic outcomes, it's our place in the global landscape. So if you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, what, according to you, is India's place in the global map, and what needs to happen today to make that a reality?
It's a good question. Literacy is very, very important. We got to focus on education. Quality education, not just get degrees, but understanding science and technology, fundamental sciences, medicine, all that stuff we're doing well, but we continue to do better and take it to a lot more masses, allow them to get meaningful employment out of the skill sets that they have. Deploy technology. We are already doing well. Many of these fronts, whether it is biotech, whether it is IT, whether it is AI, whether it is cyber, manufacturing, space, medicine, we're doing extremely well. I think we are a very rounded nation in that sense. We don't have, other than we keep on saying that we have a manufacturing, we lag or lack manufacturing finesse or scale. It will happen. It's not a big thing. It probably is capital related more than knowledge related.
Right.
So it'll happen, and if it's a decision that one wants to make, whether do you want to go the capital way or you want to go the knowledge way, and what is that you want to. And so far our track record has proven that we are very good at knowledge, being knowledge workers and knowledge experts and knowledge thinkers. Take it to the next level of knowledge visionaries. We can do that well. We don't have to compete on capital with other countries. We will do what is required for us to be self-reliant. We don't have to be docked by somebody who's shutting off their CPU supply to us because they don't like us.
Right.
We can do some of those essential stuff, but we don't need to scale in those areas. But what we can really scale is on the knowledge side, usage side, innovation around the technologies that we are deploying. And like we've been so far global supplier of software talent, we can be a global, go-to resource for AI talent and large learning models, small models, big, medium models, different use cases. The diversity that we have, the demography that we have, all of that are pluses for us. And you will not get that level of heterogeneous models anywhere else. We got to really take advantage of it. You can deploy it in Africa, deploy it in Latin America, deploy it across different nations and get benefit of it. So we can be the AI capital of the world. And we need to solve some of those issues, as I said, on crime, policing, and fraud and corruption and so on. That I think AI will, with the help of AI, we can solve it a lot better than what we're doing today.
Okay.
But I think we are in for a great ride. Next 10, 15 years, I see myself, we're doing really well. We'll be in one of the top 2, top 1, top 3 maybe in terms of nations to aspire for.
Yeah. Great place to close. Anil, we have covered such a wide array of topics. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover?
No, I think I've done well. We've covered most of the topics. The only thing I will leave the message saying that security is a very deliberate act. We got to be conscious about it, whether it is your life or your company or your nation. We got to, and I say security, I'm not talking about site security, but you're talking about cybersecurity. And that's where my expertise is. We got to be conscious about it. Don't take it easy. It can be catastrophic. While we are in the urge to deploy and be the first to do, I've done agentic AI, I've done AI, I've done bots and so on. Be careful. Look at it all the time with how is it secure? Am I doing? So secure by design model for AI is, I think, the very, very important step.
That's a great summary and a great closure to our episode. Thank you once again, Anil.
My pleasure. Prakash, I think the questions have been very, very insightful for the audience as well as for me to bring out some of those nuances of what bothers me, right? When I see the landscape.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for our audience, we have come to the end of this episode. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other audio channels you listen to. Please subscribe to our channel for episodes that you like. Please share with your family and friends as it helps us to get the word out. And with that, thank you very much.